Hello, I'm Ron Chakraborty. I'm the executive editor for BBC Sport on major events. I think the biggest issue across all the areas is probably, and to sum up in a word, it's probably reality. I think when you're planning these things, knowing exactly what you're going to get when you're building a venue, how many people are going to be in it, is this going to be used again? I think from our broadcast point of view, knowing what we think the audience is going to be and putting together our broadcast plans accordingly. I think so many times there's poor legacies of major events where everyone's looked back and thought we've got that wrong. Well, now actually people need to think ahead using the examples, good and bad, of the past and actually be a bit more realistic in their planning. I think the biggest area for innovation when it comes to major events is going to be remote production. I think in the past, big sporting events have boasted of the fact, we've got 10,000 media coming. Actually, in this modern world now of sustainability and climate change, that's probably not a positive headline. So we've got to find ways of doing more of our production from our home base and taking fewer people, flying fewer people to the host city. So there's more and more ways of doing that now. The technology is improving so that you can not just do your programs from your home city rather than the host city, but also cover live sport. There's been examples of athletics with 30 cameras in Japan being directed from Australia instead. And I think that's the future in terms of reducing the numbers on site and still therefore freeing up your broadcasters, your front of screen people to embrace the host city and continue making content, but just lessening your carbon footprint. I think it's got more and more important co-creation and working with your partners. I think too often in the past you get to that point too late before an event where you realise there's a problem, we haven't spoken to each other, and now more and more you're finding events are getting to you 2-3 years beforehand and asking questions, well, what do you want the sports schedule to look like? How are we going to gather all this content in the most efficient way possible and share it around the other platforms? In terms of, even with the European Championships here, they said, do you want an opening ceremony? So actually maybe we don't. And that just saved so much money, and we had the conversation nice and early. So I think working together with host cities, with federations, is definitely a huge plus in terms of saving money and delivering maximum impact. I think for me the biggest advantage for host city, the biggest plus I've taken out of it, is seeing how other parts of a major event see their planning process, what their challenges are. So often I'm just thinking about it from a broadcasting point of view, and we only deal with the other partners when it comes to issues. But now actually hearing what their issues are heading into it has been really refreshing to actually see a major event from someone else's point of view and actually work out ways you can solve those problems before they happen. I think Host City has been a really great experience in terms of catching up with colleagues that you work with in federations and elsewhere in the broadcasting and major event fraternity, because so often we're spread throughout the globe, we only get together for those events, we then don't see each other for years, and actually this is a perfect time to catch up face to face. So that's your kind of friends you already knew, but I've met so many new people actually were friends of friends or colleagues of colleagues, and I've made some really good new sort of contacts out of this, and my pocket is bulging with business cards at the moment, so it's been a very fruitful couple of days.